Greetings from your congregational team. It's been a year since our congregational chapter and 6 months since we took office. Like all of you, we realized that the events of this year challenge us to adapt, to change, to interpret our chapter directions anew, and assume the call to be bold in unexpected ways. We recently spent time together in prayerful reflection on our own experience and on what others in the congregation have said to us. Here are some of our reflections. We share with you the sadness of our losses, losing friends, relations, and our sisters to COVID, not being able to mourn as we would like, missing out on community and family rituals and celebrations, and even ordinary visits.
Contrasting messages symbolize this time. Stay safe and connected. Choose between security and bold action. This has been a time of thinking about exposure, preventing exposure to the virus by quarantine and masks, seeing the virus expose the frailty of our healthcare system and our whole social infrastructure, being exposed to new realities. This has been a time of contemplating presence. When we couldn't be physically present, we learned new modes. Our prayer, and especially the celebration of the Eucharist, has taken on new dimensions. In stay-at-home mode, Zoom allowed us to expand our neighborhood. We embraced the globe as we visited with people from down the street and people from New York to Japan, St. Paul to Peru, all on screen.
We've become aware that we must resist the temptation to hope that things will go back to normal. We've seen divisions in our world too clearly, and we cannot ignore the call to live and act differently. The majority of us are no longer in the official workforce, and we still enjoy the rich resources of education, energy for mission, and financial stability that allows us to address areas of great need. We can help others think more deeply and act differently.
A year after our chapter, we remember how the Spirit led us to our 5 future congregational directions and our shared commitment to go deeper, journey farther, and respond boldly and creatively. 2 of our chapter directions address issues whose urgency has become glaringly apparent. We know that failure to address climate change may reach a tipping point from which we cannot recover. The death of George Floyd and the ongoing civil unrest demonstrate the consequences of not dismantling overlocking systems of oppression.
We can't keep asking questions about what we should do without trying new solutions. We have begun to respond to these in a number of ways. This is our moment, the only one we have. Our time and energy for action may be limited, but the time for response is equally short. We can think boldly as we use every new and old tool at our disposal to act with others, engaging our neighbors, our legislators, business leaders, and the person we meet on the street in the urgent task of transforming our reality through effective love of God, neighbor, and earth. We can all journey farther in being vocal, prophetically agitating experts on climate change and interlocking systems of oppression. If we need additional inspiration, 17-year-old Greta Thunberg speaks for the youth of the world and calls us to action, saying, "I want you to act as you would in a crisis. I want you to act as if our house is on fire, because it is. We are called together for the life of the world today.
We'd love to hear your comments and your response. You can email us at cong.leadershipteam@csjcarondelet.org.